Alright guys, I got a funky rattling noise coming from what I think is one of the idlers or the tensioner or something. So as you can kind of hear it, it has a rhythm to it. I'm hoping it's something to do in the front and not with like the valve train or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the belt off and see if the noise goes away. It's just a simple test to see if it's something to do with the idlers or one of the pulleys or the tensioner. So I'm going to get that belt removed right now. Alright guys, I got my air box pulled off just to give me some extra room so I could put that wrench on there, that ratchet, and this wrench on top of it just for leverage. As you can see, I can just push down and it loosens the belt right there. So just gonna pull it off. Got it pulled off. Just gonna release the pressure off the tensioner. Simple as that. I'm gonna get this thing completely removed. That way it doesn't tear anything up when I start it. Alright, before I pulled it out, I took a picture of how it's set, but I mean, if you forgot to do that, it's not a problem. There's tons of diagrams on Google. Just search, your year, make, and model and serpentine belt diagram. So now I'm going to start up the engine. So remove these tools. Alright, so as I suspected, it is something to do with this serpentine belt area. As you can see, there is no noise. Perfect. So now I just need to figure out which pulley is causing the noise. Just check for play. This one has a little bit of play, but seems fine. Oh shoot, there it is. Wow, really? That's ridiculous. It's the water pump. It's probably the hardest thing to replace out of everything here, but it's gonna have to be done. I wonder if that's caused by the accident, but I mean, I really don't think so, because these fans, the radiator, it's all original, so nothing pushed back. Wow, that is a lot of play. Alright, so you have to remove all the splash shields here and twist this little knob 180 degrees to get it to flow. Also open the coolant reservoir. That way air can flow in as the coolant spills out. So I'm just going to give this like 20-30 minutes or so before I drop it. Alright, so this job is fairly straightforward. You just need to remove the engine cover, the intake air box, and you gotta remove the bolts from the fan and drop the fan down just enough to clear the water pump. No need to pull it out. And then after that, you need to remove the upper radiator hose, the idler pulleys, the belt tensioner, and also that little pressed hose. It just pries right out. As you can see here, I'm removing the lower radiator hose, and after that all of the bolts all around the water pump. I'm using my Milwaukee side ratchet tool. Makes this job a whole lot easier. Alright, got the water pump off, and now I need to just wipe down the surface here. Make sure there's no dust in there. Just put the new gasket on the water pump and pop it in. As you can see here, the water pump bolts are tightened to 18 foot-pounds of torque. So I'm going to go through and tightening them up, trying to go in a crisscross pattern. That way everything gets tightened down evenly. Reinsert the pipe that goes under the intake manifold. It's kind of a struggle, but I popped it in. And then reinsert the 10mm bolt that holds the pipe down. Now you can transfer the original coolant temperature sensor. I applied some Teflon tape onto it. I know it's probably not the best, but I'll just watch out for leaks. It's not, I don't believe it's temperature rated, but 200 degrees is not so bad. Plus some of the old sealant glue was still on the sensor, so I think it'll be fine. After that, you can reinsert the idler pulley and the belt tensioner. After the tensioner is on, you can go ahead and put the belt on. Check it for wear. Mine looked perfect, so I just reused it. Once the belt is on, you could start reassembling the rest of the parts. You could start with the fan, pop that on, and then the intake tube, the engine cover, and airbox. And then after all the parts are reassembled and everything is connected, don't forget your lower radiator hose. After that, you could pour in the coolant, and yeah, that's it for this one. Fairly simple. Could take about an hour.